Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. Folks, let me tell you something. It is such an honor, a pleasure, a joy to hear so many people sharing that they've established relationships with the actual bankers who will help them exchange their currency and also manage their wealth. It is beautiful. We have so many members every day that are sharing their updates and their stories. You have the opportunity to be one of them. All you got to do is click the link at the top of the description, folks. Join the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room for free. We will help you. We will share the 8 steps. We will wrap our arms around you with love, and we will show you the way. It's a golden opportunity, chance of a lifetime of this blessing that we all await or are waiting for. It would be very unfortunate that many of you will not miss the opportunity, but miss the opportunity to maximize the opportunity in itself. What you don't know is what you don't know. In the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room, we share 8 steps. Many people in the tribe were in the same position as many of you are in, that you just didn't know that there was more out there for you to get prepared for this blessing. Click the link top of the description, folks. Come on home. Now, today Goldilocks is sharing information directly from the CBI about a warning that the United States has given Iraq. We're going to touch on that. And then we're going to touch on the major progression towards the revaluation of the Vietnamese dong. Let's jump right into it. What Goldilocks is stating, and folks, pay attention. This is directly from the CBI regarding a warning from the U.S. Department of Treasury and Federal Reserve. And it reads, reports indicate that Iraq's central bank faces a potential deadline in August this month to reform its financial sector or risk further measures from the U.S. and international partners. This is not a deadline for sanctions to be lifted, but rather a warning to Iraq to enforce stronger anti-money laundering and anti-smuggling practices to avoid new restrictions on their banking system. If these new restrictions that might be imposed, it could absolutely damper, slow down, prevent the progress of the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar until Iraq implements additional reforms that the U.S. Treasury and the international banking community is requesting them to do. In an article by Iraqi News, it's noted that the Central Bank of Iraq is on its, quote, last chance, end quote, to reform the Iraqi banking sector to avoid further sanctions. The CBI is under pressure from the U.S. to ensure Iraqi banks don't facilitate illicit transactions or enable dollar smuggling. See, if this is something that Iraq has been warned about before. They made progress in this regard, but it's like it got to a point where they got comfortable. In February, there was an article that was reported by Reuters that the CBI would ban 5 specific banks from U.S. dollar transactions. And this meeting was followed with an emergency meeting with the United States Department of Treasury and the Federal Reserve, which was in regards to pushing for more reforms. So in July, last month, a significant move by the U.S. Treasury sanctioned 14 Iraqi banks for participating in money laundering and funneling U.S. dollars to Iran. Iran militias. So the United States is, for lack of a better term now, cracking the whip on Iraq. Now, don't think of this as the Iraqi government as a whole or the central bank as a whole that is dragging their feet. This is more so very strong Iran-backed groups that are embedded in the political and financial system within Iraq. Think of it as an infiltration. So this has always been there. This is just a cultural thing within Iraq. So since late 2022, the U.S. has pressured Iraq to end or curb the smuggling of U.S. dollars, a large portion of which is believed to be filtered to Iran. These reforms require Iraqi banks to adopt stricter electronic platforms for international transfers. In an article from 2024, April, and you all who have been following us now for a while, you have heard the article directly from the Trump administration. Currency revaluation is likely to be priority of the second Trump administration, large in part due to the overvaluing of the dollar and due to trade deficit. In that, folks, it includes to counter the actions of Iran. See, currency and Forex is a multi-trillion-dollar daily platform transactions. And when it comes to these sanctions and restrictions on the dollar access for Iraqi banks, it has caused instability with the Iraqi dinar. Although the dinar is getting stronger, but it's causing instability at the same time. These reforms that the U.S. is cracking the whip on Iraq to implement are very important. The current pressure is part of an ongoing collaborative effort between the U.S. Treasury and the CBI to reform the Iraqi banks more. Iraq has been put on notice that they must implement certain reforms. Vietnam and other countries have already implemented such reforms. Many other countries do not have the infiltration of a similar Iran-backed groups, for example. See, Vietnam, their strength and stability, both financial and political, is what has got them in the sights of the international banking community to upgrade their stock market, FTSE Russell, MCSI, and others. Vietnam's economic strategy, $5 billion, involving, even lately, a broad range of high-value infrastructure projects and market reforms that are designed to accelerate Vietnam's growth. This is not just only, this is one of many reforms that Vietnam has going on. Vietnam's approach to even a recent high-value infrastructure project. See, infrastructure is the foundation of any nation. Infrastructure is the lifeline of a nation. Vietnam's approach involves a large number of investments and policies, some of which, like, for example, a new airport and high-speed rail, individually surpassed the $5 billion amount. Transportation, high-speed rails, airport within a nation like Vietnam, which are additional projects. This allows access, more access, physical access for countries to invest and access their markets. The restrictions that Iraq has, the lack of last reforms that are needed, are reforms that Vietnam has absolutely accepted. For example, Vietnam's seaport, yes, where trade of goods and services are done. Multi-billion-dollar seaport upgrade, which in all actuality is equated to be a potential, even though it's stated for $1.8 billion, long term, it's suspected to be an amount of over $20 billion. Now, Vietnam's seaport upgrades do not specifically include the digitization of stablecoins, but Vietnam is piloting stablecoin payments with the broader national framework for digital assets. What is going to back our currencies in the exchange? In order for our currencies to exchange, digital assets. While this seaport modernization in Vietnam is primarily focused on infrastructure, it is part of a larger push toward a digital economy, which involves separate pilot programs for digital currencies and assets. What will back our currencies in the new digital asset-based trading system? Digital assets. So we see, although Vietnam and Iraq, step by step, lockstep and key, doing some of the same things at the same time, it's almost as They are in a race. They see the finish line. Right now, Vietnam appears to be 1 or 2 steps ahead in this race. Iraq seems to be 1 or 2 steps behind. They actually have, Iraq that is, until the end of August to implement these reforms, similar to additional reforms, or be faced with new sanctions. The clock is ticking on Iraq. We wait and we see if they implement these reforms. If they do, the best will be yet to come for Iraq and the Iraqi dinar. Pay attention. Let's stay grounded. Goldilocks is only bringing the up-to-date actual facts of what we watch for. No fluff, no stuff. This is why, again, diversification and relationships is your key to wealth in this opportunity. Be well, beautiful folks. We love you. Ciao. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.